That corsage from your prom date. Check the petals closely. Notice the unnatural veins. At Blackwood High, 19 students disappeared after their flowers began pulsing like living hearts. Their yearbook photos still update annually, each version showing more vines creeping across their faces. Last week, another orchid bloomed in the trophy case, with your name on the tag. The cursed prom flower, a true story from Blackwood High. The humid October air clung to Adam Carter's skin as he stood before the weathered storefront of Eternal Blossoms Florist. The shop's display window was fogged with condensation, obscuring whatever lurked inside. Adam checked his watch, 6:47 p.m. Prom started in little over an hour, and he still needed to pick up Emily's corsage. The bell jingled ominously as he entered. The scent hit him first, not the fresh floral aroma he expected, but something earthy and metallic, like wet soil after a storm. Rows of unusual flowers lined the shelves, their petals too vibrant, their stems too thick and sinewy. Ah, the quarterback graces my humble shop. Adam jumped. The old woman seemed to materialize from the shadows behind the counter. Her gnarled fingers worked at a bundle of black roses as she studied him with milky, cataract-clouded eyes. "I need a corsage," Adam said, shifting uncomfortably under her gaze. "For prom. Something nice, but not too fancy." The florist's lips curled into a smile that showed too many teeth. "For your sweetheart? Or perhaps for yourself?" Adam laughed nervously. No. It's for my wife, Emily." The woman disappeared into the back room, returning with a white orchid unlike any Adam had seen. Its petals shimmered with an iridescent sheen, the center an unnatural shade of violet. As she pinned it to a velvet display pillow, Adam noticed the stem twitch slightly. "That'll be $19.97, she said. "Cash only." As Adam counted out the bills, the florist leaned closer. "A word of advice, young man. Should the petals begin to change, remove it immediately. And whatever you do," her breath smelled of rotting vegetation, "don't let it taste your blood." Adam left the shop with an uneasy feeling, dismissing the strange encounter as small-town eccentricity. The corsage sat in its plastic box on his passenger seat, and twice during the drive to Emily's house, he could have sworn he saw movement in his peripheral vision. Prom night unfolded with typical high school chaos. The gymnasium had been transformed into an Enchanted Forest theme, complete with twinkling fairy lights and paper vines hanging from the basketball hoops. Adam found Emily near the punch table, her lavender dress shimmering under the strobe lights. "You're late," she teased, accepting the corsage. "This is beautiful, but..." She frowned, holding it closer to examine the unusual petals. "It feels warm." Before Adam could respond, Jason, his best friend since middle school, slung an arm around his shoulders. "Dude, you'll never believe what I just saw out in the parking lot." His words cut off as he noticed the corsage. "Whoa, that's messed up." Adam followed Jason's gaze. The once white petals had developed faint crimson veins, pulsing rhythmically like a heartbeat. A drop of thick amber liquid oozed from the stem onto Emily's wrist. "You..." She tried to wipe it away, but the substance clung stubbornly to her skin. "Adam, what is this?" A sudden wave of dizziness hit Adam. The music seemed to warp and slow, the bass vibrating through his bones. Around him, couples continued dancing, unaware that the paper vines decorating the gym walls had begun to twitch and unfurl. Jason grabbed Adam's arm. Dude, you okay? You look like you're gonna. The first scream cut through the music like a knife. Near the DJ booth, Sarah Jennings was clawing at her wrist, where her corsage had fused with her skin. The flower's stem snaked up her arm, thorns piercing flesh as it grew at terrifying speed. Her date, Mark, tried to help, only for the vine to lash out and embed itself in his eyeball. Chaos erupted. Students stampeded toward the exits as more corsages came alive. The overhead lights flickered violently before exploding in showers of sparks, plunging the gym into near darkness. The only illumination came from the flowers themselves, which now glowed with an eerie bioluminescence. Adam turned to Emily, horror dawning as he saw the orchid stem winding around her forearm like a serpent. "Get it off," he yelled, grabbing at the flower. But the moment his fingers touched the petals, white-hot pain shot up his arm. The corsage had grown roots that burrowed deep into Emily's veins, pulsing as they siphoned her blood. Jason appeared at Adam's side, wielding a fire extinguisher. "Move!" He brought it down hard on Emily's arm. The flower emitted an unearthly shriek as the metal connected, releasing its grip, just enough for Adam to yank it free. But it was too late. Emily's skin had taken on a sickly pallor, her veins visible beneath the surface like dark roots. Her eyes, when they fluttered open, were no longer the warm brown Adam loved, but a shimmering violet that matched the orchid's center. "Adam," she whispered, her voice layered with something else, something ancient. "They're hungry." As if on cue, the gym doors slammed shut with unnatural force. The paper vines decorating the walls had grown thick and fleshy, their tendrils now slithering across the floor like searching fingers. The basketball hoop rim sprouted thorny brambles that ensnared fleeing students, lifting them screaming into the air. In the center of the dance floor, the prom king's crown had fused with his skull, flowering vines erupting from his eye sockets as he let out a gurgling laugh. The queen's tiara had similarly taken root, her mouth stretching impossibly wide as petals spilled from her lips. Adam dragged Emily toward a side exit, Jason close behind. The hallway outside was no better. Lockers burst open to reveal nests of writhing vegetation, classrooms overgrown with pulsating fungal blooms. The school was transforming, becoming something alive and hungry. They reached the parking lot, only to find the nightmare had spread. Cars were engulfed in thick vines, their windows shattered by grasping roots. The trees surrounding Blackwood High had grown to monstrous proportions, their branches heavy with the strange, fleshy fruit that resembled human faces. Adam's phone buzzed in his pocket. A text from an unknown number. The garden must be fed. As he stared at the screen, Emily's hand closed around his wrist with the terrifying strength. Her fingers had elongated, the nails hardened into thorn-like points. The veins in her arm now formed intricate patterns that matched the orchid's petals. "Adam," she said, her voice no longer her own. "You shouldn't have run from the dance." Jason swung the fire extinguisher again, this time at Emily's head. It moved with inhuman speed, catching the weapon mid-swing and crushing the metal canister like paper. The last thing Adam remembered was the sting of thorns piercing his neck as the world dissolved into darkness and the sound of rustling leaves. 1 month later, the abandoned high school stands silent under the harvest moon. The vines have receded, the flowers withered. Police found no bodies, only piles of clothing and personal effects scattered throughout the building. At the edge of town, Eternal Blossoms Florist has new owners. The young couple who took over swear they found the place empty, save for a single vase of white orchids on the counter, their petals shimmering with iridescent dew. And in the woods behind Blackwood High, where the trees grow unnaturally tall, hunters have reported hearing strange sounds after dark. Something between rustling leaves and whispered laughter. Sometimes, when the wind is just right, you can almost make out the strains of a familiar song. The same one that played at prom before everything went wrong. As for Adam Carter, his Letterman jacket was found neatly folded on the 50-yard line of the football field. Pinned to the breast was a single, perfect, white orchid. And if you listen very closely when passing the florist shop at night, you might just hear a faint, familiar voice from within the darkened store. Welcome to the garden.